Welcome everybody to another episode of Employee Gifting Simplified with CT. Excited to be here with Laura Van Winkle. Laura is with Adobe Population Health and has been doing a lot of great things around the world of employee recognition and appreciation, and was excited when she accepted an invitation to join the podcast and share some of her wisdom. If you don't follow Laura on LinkedIn, you definitely should. She has some great, invigorating posts that she posts about from the world of what it's like to be in HR, and I thoroughly enjoy the. Remind me, what's the name of the? You have a cow that you usually use in a lot of the pictures that you post with, and you have a name for the cow, and I can't remember what it is right now. What's the name of the cow?
Carla.
Carla, that's what it is. I remember. Usually, I laugh at least 4 or 5 times with every post that you have. So, Laura, without further ado, we're excited to have you here and learn a little bit about your background and what brought you into HR, and your perspectives and views on employee recognition and appreciation in the current workplace where it's constantly changing. And you being in healthcare, you probably deal with a completely different side of employee recognition than what a lot of other
Mhm.
industries or organizations deal with. So we're excited to learn from you. Laura, catch us up to speed. Give us a little bit of background information and what led you to Adobe Population Health.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I've been with Adobe now. Today is my official 20th day. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. I have been in, healthcare HR for the last 24 years, but in HR for more than I would like to admit, probably 30-ish now. But what brought me to Adobe was their mission and vision and values. I work for a large acute care hospital um, group, wanted to go more on the private side in a smaller organization where I am the senior VP of HR here. One of the things, like I had said earlier, that drew me to Adobe was their mission and values. And if you have a chance, go look at those. It's to positively impact the lives we touch and to deliver healthcare to our members. Adobe actually walks the walk and talks the talk when it comes to their culture and recognizing their employees, be it a little trinket monthly or a big luncheon. We have a big party planned for Friday for our Phoenix group. So I'm looking forward to that and hopefully winning the ugly sweater contest.
Hey, you got to make sure you win those. So
Yes,
that's the most
and
important
I
part.
did win the funniest costume award at Halloween. So I do have some bragging rights. I have some I need to ensure that I continue that legacy. So
Yeah. We're going to have to do like a follow-up podcast just to know, or like an update to this, and figure out what happened with the
yeah.
ugly sweater contest. So we got to know though, is it a homemade ugly sweater like that you're designing and building, or do you have like this hole in the wall website that you use to source these ugly sweaters?
Well, I have two.
Okay.
I did purchase an HR related sweater, but I don't think it's going to get here by Friday. So I did purchase another sweater
Okay.
that I am augmenting. So it's kind of semi-homemade. I'm doing a Sandra Lee thing there.
Okay.
Semi-homemade.
That's awesome. We're excited for that. So just to and kind of to kick things off, it sounds like at Adobe Health, y'all are doing a lot of stuff to recognize and create. I mean, culture, as we know, is also built with like interactions and engagements
Uh-huh.
internally, not just with your superiors, but also with your peers and your colleagues, not just in your department or on your team, but also in the entire organization. And it sounds like that's what y'all have been doing quite a bit with the Halloween party and with this upcoming holiday party. What have you seen? Like, what does meaningful appreciation look like in these different sides? Like, how do you make sure that each employee is impacted and touched and they feel the level of appreciation that you're looking to deliver?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just asking the employees what they want. Um, I could recognize you and give you a gift card to a well-known coffee place, but if you don't drink coffee, that's not going to mean anything to you. So
Yeah.
asking the employees what they want and what motivates them, it could be a gift card. It could be just a shout out during a meeting that doesn't cost anything. It could be a well-written email and copy the owner of the organization. It Depends on the employee and pretty much just asking them what they want and what they appreciate.
Yeah, and how do you go about gathering this information? Like, what have you seen been the best practices to find out? Because each individual employee, based on where they might be at in the company, they might like different types of recognition. Like you said, one employee might really love the recognition from the owner, from the president, CEO, and then another employee doesn't ever want their name mentioned or be on that kind of like get that spotlight. So, how do you go about gathering this information? Is it mainly an interview process in your quarterly interviews with them, or what does that typically look like?
So when an employee starts, there is a form that we have them fill out, like a get
Okay.
to know me kind of. I don't know what else to call it, form.
Yeah.
And that's where they indicate, something about themselves that no one would know, what motivates them, what is their favorite $5, $10 gift card to receive,
Hmm.
their favorite color, if they celebrate birthdays, what they would like for that event, if they celebrate holidays, because we have some employees that don't celebrate birthdays or holidays, but we still want to
Yeah.
recognize them.
Hmm.
So that form is then shared with the hiring manager. So they have the information available to them. We also do peer-to-peer recognition. So
Hmm.
that form isn't shared with the peers, but we can also have that as an avenue for recognition.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what have you found that has really differentiated? You mentioned you were working at kind of one of the larger acute health organizations prior to going to Adobe. What have you found that's been a challenge when it comes to employee recognition in the healthcare space with keeping employees excited when they are dealing with occasionally very difficult circumstances that they have to deal with?
Mhm.
Like how are you navigating that as an organization?
So I went from an organization of 45,000 employees to 400 employees,
Wow.
a 24/7 operation to pretty much a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Yeah.
So recognizing what I call shift workers is not easy. And you can do holiday parties, but are you going to do holiday parties for first shift, second shift, third shift, the variable people? So in an acute care setting, and for those that don't know what acute care means, a hospital setting,
Hmm.
you have to think 24-hour operations. So what you do at 8 o'clock in the morning for the day shift people, you have to do at 8 p.m. for the night shift people. And most people in hospitals work 12-hour shifts. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to do it that way. And what's going to motivate an 8 a.m. worker is not necessarily going to motivate an 8 p.m. worker. So you just kind of have to think outside the box and try and determine you're not going to make everyone happy. That's just I learned that very early in life, but sometimes I still forget it. And there's that one email that you get that you're just like, oh, man, I tried.
Yeah.
But the majority of the people appreciate even thinking about the night shift or the second shift people.
So what have you seen like based on I think that's money and I think it goes back to two things to tie in based on the conversations that I've had. I have the unique situation, Laura, and you and I have talked quite a bit offline, but I have the unique opportunity to meet with HR leaders that are at healthcare facilities and some of the largest healthcare organizations in the country
Mhm.
to smaller operations of 15 to 25 man teams to couple hundred, couple thousand employees, right? And one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of power in the action and the energy behind wanting to show appreciation, but then also allowing or passing a lot of the ability to make the final decision with the employees themselves. So that way they have the ability to choose for themselves. And I think that's what you're saying right there, because if I'm an employee that's coming in at 8 o'clock just to start my 12-hour shift at 8 p.m., I definitely need way more. My incentives or appreciation rewards are going to look a lot different than an employee at
Mhm.
8 a.m. Or any different situation. And by listening to your employees, you've probably seen you've heard a lot of feedback. So I'm curious, like, what do you feel, or like, what are employees valuing more recently in the recent couple of years than they have been in the past? What are they valuing more right now?
I think they're valuing more of the choice and being able to have a litany or plethora, whatever you want to call it, of choices to go in and say, okay, this is how I'm going to spend my $50 or whatever amount is $10, $5, whatever the case may be. Rather than, okay, here's the coffee gift card. Thank you and have a nice day. And they're going, well, I don't drink coffee. So, can I trade this in for something that tea or a big box company gift card, something.
Yeah, or
So
maybe they want it
giving,
for an ugly sweater, huh? Maybe
yeah,
they need it for that, right?
exactly. So giving them the option to go in and let them choose what they want, I think says a lot and says more for the employer to recognize that not everybody is going to fit in a nice little box and not everybody is going to appreciate a coffee gift card. Me, I would be ecstatic to get a coffee gift card, but that's me.
I know. But I think that's the kind of the current workforce that we're dealing with, right? We are moving from a traditional ever since COVID, right? We're moving from the traditional everybody's in the office in person to where we're dealing with this unique situation of a lot of hybrid workforces, a lot of
Uh-huh.
remote, a lot of going back to the office and navigating different schedules, but also providing more flexibility to employees on getting their work done so they can be present in the lives of their families, right? I hear
Yeah.
that all the time with a lot of the conversations I have, and it sounds like it's something that's pretty consistent with what you're dealing with over there as well. Have you seen a difference in employees wanting the choice because of the new work environment that we're in with hybrid and in-person work or remote work impacting a lot of that? Do you deal with a lot of that in your current situation at Adobe? Or I know it's different in the healthcare space and every company's slightly different with that, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious if you've seen a difference.
We have remote, hybrid, and in office. So we've got the gamut.
All of
And
it.
I think it's just the flexibility of having that available to everyone allows, again, for them to choose what they want. In the acute care setting, we were never remote.
Yeah.
We never had the opportunity to work from home because we were a hospital and we ran 24/7. And
Hmm.
because of COVID, we were taking care of a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that wasn't an option. And with people that were working, and sometimes double shifts because we couldn't, staff was quitting left and right, letting them have the ability to purchase or select whatever they wanted was also better for them because everything was closed anyway. So they could have whatever they chose either shipped or sent electronically.
Yeah. Did you see a lot of I know there's in recent years there's been quite a bit of turnover or a lot of like transitioning in the healthcare space. What's like one thing that you feel like leaders in the healthcare industry are missing when it comes to like on the retention side and like helping take care of the people that are already there and minimizing the just the revolving door effect?
I would say two things, and I think they're not mutually exclusive, is communication and compassion. Those were the two things. We weren't really communicating, but we also weren't really showing compassion either. Yes, we understand there's a pandemic going on, but we also have to staff our hospital.
Yeah.
And it was difficult at times. Sometimes people work in double shifts, get their 8 hours worth of sleep, and come back and work another double shift. So there wasn't, I wouldn't say there wasn't compassion, but there wasn't a lot of compassion because again, we were trying to staff the hospitals.
Yeah, there were certain challenges that you just had to take up,
Hmm.
and I think if I'm hearing anything from this and different conversations I've been in different opportunities or expectations that I've been asked to step up into, and I think as humans, and Laura, you probably have examples of this as well. It's like just the communication and the eye contact a lot of the times, or even talking to somebody on the phone, depending on whatever situation is going on, and being able to hear it specifically from their voice really carries a lot farther than any tangible thing that we could do. It's like, hey, I know things are really tough and tight. It's going to get better. We really need your help, etc. And
Uh-huh,
that I
uh-huh.
kind of I feel like it really helps on both of those sides. Not as it's not a perfect fit. It doesn't guaranteed that everything's going to be a home run or a slam dunk and nobody's ever going to leave. But I think people remember those emotions that they feel from authentic connection, and they last longer than just a checkbox mentality of getting people to show up when they need to be there. Right.
Not only the connection, but the being heard. I think that's the
Yes.
other piece to it.
Yeah. That's probably even more important, right? Than the connection part is the being heard, the reciprocal being heard and felt that they were heard and that they're understood on that side. So this is a cool thing I'm kind of curious about as well based on your experience. But what cultural or engagement initiative are you most excited about, or like stick out in your mind that, sorry, I'm gonna re-ask that question. I'm gonna cut this part out. But is there an initiative or an employee recognition story you're proud of that made a real difference with the employees that you are working with?
Man, I gotta think about that. I would probably have to go back several employers ago, or probably recognition companies were even invented. We had to come up with something, or I did. I don't know why, but somehow HR got selected
Okay.
to, and every month we had to come up with something to recognize employees, and usually food is a good thing.
Yes.
And this is, I wouldn't say before the internet because I ordered everything online, but before social media. So
Okay.
I'm dating myself. So food is a great motivator. So that's what I did. I usually did some type of candy or taco truck or
Okay.
something like that. Well, one year or one month, I had a candy distributor in New York that had PEZ. They needed to get rid of PEZ. So they gave me this great deal on PEZ dispensers. And I thought, okay, this is good. And I was doing 1,500 a month.
Oh,
So
wow.
I got a heck of a deal.
Yes.
So I'm distributing the PEZ dispensers, and you would think I was giving away $100 bills. People were fighting for them. And then they were doing this exchange. Well, I got this one. Could you trade it in for this one? And I didn't know PEZ was that popular.
Yeah.
That was the biggest, funniest, I would say, recognition that we did.
That was awesome. And how did it make you feel when the employees were just they got so invested in it and they were excited and they were talking, and how did that make you feel?
It made me feel great, but then I thought, "Oh, crud, what am I going to do for next month that's going to top the PEZ dispensers?" Then it became an, oh no, what am I going to do? I had to raise the bar even higher.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's really cool. I think it just comes from like being out of the box and willing to take a chance. And some of the things that we think are sometimes the easiest end up delivering the highest level of impact that we possibly can
Hmm.
for our employees, and helping them feel heard and helping them feel it's a lot different than just your traditional, like, hey, here's a paper certificate that's just a mock up that we have that says, hey, good job, you're the employee of the month, and just print it on normal paper, right?
Yeah.
Even the act of printing them on cardstock or different types of paper kind of goes a long way. That's a relatively low lift for employees, or for employers and HR leaders that are looking to make an impact in the lives of their employees. This has been an awesome conversation, Laura, and really grateful for the time that you've spent here and giving us a little life. I might be calling you. Were you interviewed on the Netflix special about PEZ? You know, they did a PEZ on Netflix and how it was all the rage in like the 90s, I think. I haven't watched it, but I've seen it pop up quite a bit.
I
They should have
was
interviewed you.
not, but they should have.
Yeah, I
Isn't that
know.
how either
Yeah.
Craigslist or eBay got started? Is because of
Maybe,
PEZ?
maybe. I need to do some research. If anybody knows, let us know.
Somebody's wife collected PEZ dispensers, and
Okay.
that's either Craigslist or eBay.
Wow. Hey, well, I need to do some extra research so that way we can know. That's awesome. I would not doubt it. I didn't know that Pez were such a big thing either, but I saw that special, and then my wife gets my kids Pez dispensers. That's like what they get in their Christmas stockings are Pez dispensers, and so they're a hot item, and everybody can't wait till they get their new Pez dispenser. So I hear that. Well, as we close up here, we already mentioned, I'll make sure to add into on the notes of the podcast here just a link to your LinkedIn. um, like I said, Laura shares a ton of amazing concepts and ideas, especially from the life of HR with Carla the cow. I love when she pops up on my feed. So it's been awesome. What do you feel like is the most underrated way, in closing, this will be our last question, but what's the most underrated way to show appreciation to your employees? If you had to nail one thing, most underrated.
Just saying thank you. That's the least expensive, the most important, and just acknowledging what they do.
Yeah, there you have it. It's
Like,
simple and easy. Sometimes we overlook the simplest things have the greatest impact. That's what I'm hearing from all this. So
and Carla, the emotional support cow, would also say the same.
glad she could, glad she was able to get a plug it as well. So, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Laura, this has been awesome. Until next time.
Thank you.